but I'll be alright. Forever. On my laptop, on my keto, on my sheet on. Say them go feel it, them go run it down, them go hold it, them go. Say them go feel it, them go run it down, them go hold it, them go. I be talking to myself, and I don't even notice. She got me feeling like a zombie, and she dey shoot like Chuck Norris. The way she put that body down, you got me falling truly. I just touched down. When I see you now, I've on the phone, calling you tonight. I wanna make you show me, make me know the fight. I don't wanna sleep alone, wanna hold you tight. I fool my eyes, but I'll be alright. Forever. On my laptop, on my keto, on my sheet on. Say them go feel it, them go run it down, them go hold it, them go. Say them go feel it, them go run it down, them go hold it, them go. I'll be on the phone, calling you tonight. I wanna make you show me, make me know the fight. I don't wanna sleep alone, wanna hold you tight. But I fool my eyes, but I'll be alright. Forever. On my laptop, on my keto, on my sheet on. Say them go feel it, them go run it down, them go hold it, them go. Say them go feel it, them go run it down, them go hold it, them go. I be talking to myself, and I don't even notice. She got me feeling like a zombie, and she dey shoot like Chuck Norris. The way she put that body down, you got me falling truly. I just touched down. When I see you now, I've been on the phone, calling you tonight. I wanna make you, make me know the
Hey, now I'm giving my testimony. I'm killing the beat and I'm giving them heat. So now I'm giving them everything. I'm living my life, I don't chop money. I don't taste money. My guy, I'm allergic to poverty. So I'm using my sense to gather the properties. No time, no. Like a statue of liberty. Nobody knows tomorrow, so I be holding my destiny. As if it's saying I don't go. Some people they bubble. I continue the struggle. The struggle they double my hustle. As if it's saying I don't go. Some people they bubble. I continue the struggle. They double my hustle. Now I'm giving my testimony. I'm killing the beat and I'm giving them heat. Now I'm giving them everything. I'm living my life, I don't chop money. I don't taste money. Now my testimony, testimony, my testimony. I don't chop, I don't taste money. I don't taste money. Now my testimony, testimony, my testimony. I don't chop, I don't taste money. I don't taste money. Je m'appelle Chop Money. It's good to be saving for rainy days. Not so, cause you know easy. Life is so delicate. So make una see me as evidence. Baba God, now my confidence. Yes, His blessings are endless. So as if He say I don't go. Some people they bubble. I continue the struggle. The struggle they double my hustle. As if He say I don't go. Some people they bubble. I continue the struggle. They double my hustle. Now I'm giving my testimony. I'm killing the beat and I'm giving them heat. Now I'm giving them everything. I'm living my life, I don't chop money. I don't taste money.
Over there, QB tried to show me how to do it. He sat me down in this place, and he said to me, "Fuse." Nobody wanna see you rising. And when they do, they don't even like it. They just wanna see you deep in crisis. Drive us off, you don't need a license. Holler her, she can even ride it. Go ahead, move your feet just like this. Then he showed me the latest. We walk over them haters. But what you do, man, azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto. We walk over them haters. Now what you do, man, azonto, 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 azonto. We walk over the haters. Now what you do, man? They all wanna learn how to do this. So I'ma take you right through this. As on to dance, it's the movement. So when you jump on the floor, better use it. First step is a step. You can move to the right, to the left. You can even freestyle when you step. Put your hands in the air, then you rap. So go. Twist your fingers, you can wave and say hello, low. Make a fist, then you can hit them with a blow. No balance, that's how you do. So let me see you go. QB taught me this. Nobody wanna see you rising. And when they do, they don't even like it. They just wanna see you deep in crisis. Drive us off, you don't need a license. Holler her, she can even ride it. Go ahead, move your feet just like this. Then he showed me the latest. We walk over them haters. But what you do, man, azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto. We walk over them haters. But what you do, man,
sorry, sa azonto. We the yo. Empty men, you go slow. Me when in a two blow. Move to the rhythm, here we go. I'll show you how to do this. So, some inside, make us up across on the south side. Move to the left and right and watch me free. Azonto. All my ladies strike a pose and free. Drop photo. Drop it low and make the boys say damn. Consumbo. Freestyle it the way you want to say. Uchimo.
what you do, man, azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto, azonto. Now watch me do my azonto, azonto. We walk over the haters. What you do, man, your head, shoulders, knees and toes free.
Azonto. Oh yeah, shashi wo, free.
Azonto. Migrant skank, man, I like your show me.
Azonto. Ajay, zingo.
Azonto. Check this out, yo. Head, shoulders, knees and toes free.
Azonto. Yeah, shashi wo, free.
Personally, I rock your body. I promise you go home, you won't tell daddy. I give it to you like you never had it. Screaming, church, like speaking Chinese. Now waiting me this, back a boom boom. Now waiting I see Zaga, cause she know one me. She talks so she know one me. I know go lie, the things within my mind. When I see you dancing, girl, you got me high. And if you wanna try, make a good day tonight. Cause I'm in the mood, as long as you feeling the groove, I deal with you. Personally, personally, I go deal with you. Personally, I go deal with you. Lord of mercy. party hard. You know we are gonna party hard. We want party hard. Let's see our party hard.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Now, because y'all chewing, y'all can't tell me morning. Good morning. Let's try this again. Good morning, everybody. Okay, that's a tip better. Hi, everyone. My name is Arika Hill, and I'm the Executive Director of the Environmental Awareness Group, or EAG, and want to first of all welcome you to our Green Jobs Symposium. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for the little claps. We appreciate it. Okay. So today, as you know, our whole purpose behind this activity is to expose you to opportunities within the environmental field. And we're very fortunate today to have 6 experts who will be presenting for the first hour and a half. Now, the lucky thing about those of you who are in person is that afterwards, I mean, we've given you a little nibble now, but we're giving you lunch after. And the reason why we want to have lunch with you is so that you have the opportunity to speak with some of us who are not going to be on the panel today, but so that you have an opportunity to talk to us, ask questions about how you can potentially get into the environmental field. So, if you see anyone with a shirt like mine, they work for EAG. So you make sure, sit down next to them, ask them questions, because you don't know if you'll see them again. You never know, you actually might. So, fun fact for today, Trinity Archibald, Trinity Archibald. Where, like, she's so far away. Trinity. Trinity was a participant at the first Green Jobs Fair in 2022. She then went on to volunteer a lot with the EAG, and now she is serving as an intern and the coordinator for today's Green Jobs Symposium. So, give her a round of applause, first of all. And also, just to show you that the potential for networking, for engaging, you really never know where it may go, all right? So a couple things are going to happen today. For one thing, we treat this like a game show. So it's high energy, lots of fun, you get to, have a little fun, have a little laugh. But we also try to make sure that you have lots of opportunity to ask questions. So you may notice that there are mics at each table, or most tables. Do you see the mics? Yes, okay, we're great. Flying start, y'all are so energetic. It really riles me up, I'm feeling it deep in my spirit. Oh my God, I could run a marathon from all the energy that I'm getting from you today. Yeah, you feel it? Okay, cool. So I know you're not gonna do that for Janella, who is going to be managing today, but you have the opportunity when you're asked to ask questions, to make comments, so that you can really ask of the experts who are on the screen. But if you are feeling a little shy, and you don't know, I'm not too sure if I want to say this out loud, we invite you to also participate online. There is a QR code for Slido, and right there is where you can send your questions, send your comments. Be respectful in how you do that as well, though. So you have at least 2 opportunities on 2 ways to engage throughout the symposium itself, and then afterwards, later, you have the chance to have deeper conversation and longer chats, right? So there are people who are going to be participating online as well. There are secondary schools that are going to be watching. So we are actually 2 minutes past our time of starting, and we don't like to be late. So I'm now going to start can we start our countdown, Janella? So we're going to start our countdown. Are you
8, 7.
Woo. Okay.
10, 9.
So.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Janella!
Good morning to everyone. No, this is not a funeral. Come again, please. Good morning to everyone. Yes, and y'all can't say y'all didn't have breakfast because food is going around, so don't come with that excuse, people. But we are so happy to have you here at our third edition of our Green Jobs Symposium. Are you excited to be here, people? And as Erika would have mentioned, listen, today is going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. You guys have to participate because I saw the prizes, people, and they look hot, okay? We have some on-the-water prizes. We have some on-land prizes. And we have some little special screening prizes. That's all I'm saying. And if you don't participate, you can't win the prizes on them, okay? Y'all hear me? All right, fantastic. My name, sorry, didn't introduce myself. My name is Janella Bradshaw. I am the Redonda Ecosystem Reserve Coordinator here at the Environmental Awareness Group, and I will be your host for today. So just to remind you guys, if you have any questions, what we're going to do, each panelist is going to have 5 to 7 minutes to speak. Then you're going to ask your questions. If you have questions, you can definitely use the mics around you. And of course, we mentioned we'll be using Slido to interact. There are some QR codes floating around, so make sure you have that. And make sure you put your name. Do not stay anonymous because anonymous people don't win prizes here, okay? All right, so we're going to introduce our 6 fantabulous panelists today, all right? Spaniard, can I get a little, Yeah. Perfect. So our first panelist is Janelle Brisbane, and she is a wildlife ecologist. Let's go! Woo! And our next featured panelist is Carla Daniel, and she's a conservationist and also the director of Barbados Sea Turtle Project. Up next, we have Mr. Antiguans Simmons, and he is an energy officer. Give it up for him, yes! Up next, we have the sharp Dr. Linroy Christian, and he's the Director of Analytical Services. Welcome him! Yes, I won! And one panelist is making a fashionable entry, so you'll have to wait with bated breath for that. But coming and hailing from the Environmental Awareness Group, the one and only, the big man, the snake wrangler, Joshua Wilson. Give it up for him. All right. Panelists, how are you feeling? Thank you. That's the energy I want. Thank you. So as I said, we will have our panelists giving their little presentation, telling you what they do, actually trying to convince you why maybe you should try to pursue the same career that they are pursuing. And then after, you will have the question and answer segment, and then we'll just keep it flowing. As I said, we're keeping it short, sweet, to the point, interactive. So panelists, you need to give the energy. The students need to feed off of your positive energy. And yes, we're ready for that. And listen, we have different institutions in the room today. So I'm going to do a little brief roll call. So when you hear me call your school, oh, yes, guys, this is our surprise. Give it up for the wonderful, the great Desley Gardner. Hello. Hailing from the National Parks Authority. Yes, I, Desley. Wonderful. And your seat is right over there. All right, and we also want to welcome our online viewers, our students from the secondary schools. We are so happy to have you. We're not going to forget you today. Make sure you're interacting with us, and if you're present, please write in the chat which school you're from, and we're ready to hear you. So let me see. I'm seeing people from A-levels in here. Put up your hand, man. No. Yes. I'm seeing people from the business department at Antigua State College. Fantastic. I'm seeing some people in some Yui shirts. Yui, are you in the house? Yes, I'm seeing some people from Abyss. Woo! I'm seeing some people from Abyss. Great. And last but not least, Sass, are you in the house? No, Sass is not here. No, sir. Sass, are you in the house? Okay, did I forget anybody? No, I did not forget you. I left the best for last. Just know your place. Know your place. Engineering, are you in the house? Fantastic. So we're gonna... Wow, I didn't know we're on the Titanic. I hope we don't sink. Oops, too soon. We're gonna get started. Janelle, Brisbane, it is your turn to speak to the people. And can you guess which country she's hailing from? Trinidad. We have Trinidad. Any other guesses? It's not Antigua, I can say. Somebody said Dominica? Yes. Wow, you got it right. Yes, she's hailing from the lovely island of Dominica. And then next after we have Carla. Y'all know where Carla is from? Carla, tell them hi. Use the mic and tell them hi.
Hello. What's that? Oh, Condensed.
She's hailing from Barbados. So we're giving a round of applause for our first two speakers.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So my name is Janelle Brisbane. I'm from Dominica. Thank you for guessing. You're a star. I'm a wildlife ecologist, but I also tell people that I'm a professional tree hugger. That's my job. That's what I get paid to do. To chase snakes, catch iguanas, hug trees, climb them. It's great. So what is a wildlife ecologist? A wildlife ecologist, I study essentially wild animals and how they interact with the environment. But my specialty is a big word we call herpetology. So my specialty deals with reptiles and amphibians. I'm the crazy iguana lady, I'm the crazy snake lady. I deal with one of the world's largest frogs called the mountain chicken frog in Dominica. Who's heard of it? That's right, yeah. Okay. But I guess we didn't have things like this growing up, right? This kind of exposure. So when I was young, I always knew I wanted to work with animals, but I thought I had to be a vet, okay? Until I grew up and I was like, I don't know if I want to, cut dogs open and put them to sleep. I don't think this is my calling, but I still want to work with animals. So how do I do that? And you know how I found out I wanted to be a wildlife ecologist? Google. One day I went on the computer and I was like, I want to work with wildlife. How do I get to do this? And Google actually pointed me in the right direction because we didn't have professions like this in Dominica where I can learn from and engage with. So yeah, that's essentially my journey. I went on to do my undergraduate degree over in Florida in wildlife ecology and conservation. Then my master's, and now I am pursuing my PhD in the same field because I love it so very much. Yeah.
Fantastic. Carla, take it away. It's your turn.
All right, good morning, everybody. So, my name is Carla, and I am a conservation biologist in Barbados. And I'm going to start by telling you a little bit of a story. So, to be fair, I did not even want a job. I did not intend to work to get no money. I was not about this life. What happened to me was I went to, and I will be fair again, I went to UE because my parents won't let me start home. So I went to university. I had always loved plants and animals and stuff, so I decided that's what I was gonna do. So I did an undergraduate degree in ecology and biology. One day, I'm minding my own business, and I walk through the corridor, and I see a flyer. Volunteers wanted sea turtle conservation, and I was like, ooh, turtles, that sounds cool. I got something to do. I applied. People didn't want me. I know, rough, right? They were already full, but they were like, if you're still interested, come back next year. I applied again the next year, started with them. This was back in 2006. But the one thing that they did not tell me was that it was a trap. When I tell you a trap, it was not a thirst trap, it was a turtle trap. Once I started this thing in 2006, I volunteered every single year after that. Every time I said, no, I'm not going to do it this year, I got sucked back in. And that is what I would say the field of conservation is all about. Why was it a threat? They had no hot men, they had no hot women. I mean, the things you see on the beach is not the things that you want to be seeing. But what I can tell you is that it is amazingly rewarding. Every single night I went on the beach, I was saving baby turtles from getting run over by cars. I was pulling adult turtles out of swimming pools, out of people's hotel rooms. I was arguing with men on the beach doing foolishness. I was having people come up to me and hug me because they travel to Barbados and they've only ever seen things like this on National Geographic. They've never seen it in real life. And I got invited to people's weddings because they interacted with me on the beach, saving turtles and so on. Now, was it easy? No. There was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of crying. I've had, adult turtles hit by cars. And when you get there, I'll never forget, this was last year. I got there. Turtle looked dead, stuck under the car. And I touched the turtle. And it started trying to breathe and to drag itself out. And it was fatally injured, so it was horrible. So there's a lot of heartbreak. We're all living in the Caribbean in 2024. We know climate change. We know all the doom and gloom scenarios relating to our islands. We know that this field of environmental science, ecology, whatever, is rough. It is mentally and emotionally rough. But there are so many rewarding moments when every single day you are making a difference to the future of this planet. You're saving things, you're saving habitat, you're saving ecosystems. And somebody needs to stand in the gap. At this point, if we do not preserve our islands, who will? Somebody has to do it. So while making money and having a job and being able to pay your bills and not live on the street, all of that is amazing. You get to do that when you have a green job, but you also get to make a lasting difference for this place that you call home.
Give it up, give it. That was a word. That was a word, and I can agree with Carla. Conservation is a trap. Once you're in it, you just can't get out. But it's the good type of trap. And I just want to say, shameless plug. We at the EAG, guess what? We have our own sea turtle monitoring program, so you can fall for the same trap that Carla falls for. But yes, that was terrific. So, guys, what time is it? Summertime. It's question and answer time. Yes. So you heard from these two lovely ladies hearing about the type of conservation work that they're doing in their individual islands. It's time for you to ask some questions, because I know y'all have some questions. So whether you want to use Slido, whether if there's a mic by you and you just want to ask a question right now, please feel free. Spaniard, can we have some music? Because I feel like they're shy and they want a little encouragement. They need to loosen up. They're too tight, okay? And listen, if you don't ask questions, don't think I'm not going to pull you. And I know you don't want that, because I don't want to do it. So let's go.
Let me tell them how the thing goes. How the thing goes. Okay.
All right. Since we're a little bit shy, I'm going to ask the first question. For you, Janelle, this is going to be a different question. When you were growing up in Dominica as a young lady, whether you're going to primary, secondary school, state college, did you have any opportunity like this that we're offering to our students, having a whole event catered towards different careers in the environmental field, kind of pushing the narrative of conservation? And like what Carla echoed, this isn't something, that's promoted for people that kind of look like us in the Caribbean. It always seemed like a far-fetched thing, like you'd have to be in the States, you would have to be somewhere in Europe. if you were to have an event like this, how would that alter your life, or how important that would have been for you?
Okay. Definitely wouldn't have had to Google things to figure it out. But I think we didn't have this growing up, events like this. We had environmental clubs, but we created it because we wanted it. And I think to understand how we reached that point, you have to kind of close your eyes and picture what it was like to grow up in Dominica, right? Like, we have one of the most untouched forests in the Caribbean. So my childhood was running on river stones, swinging from vines into river pools, free diving in the coast. It was bliss, hiking trails, falling in mud, like that was my childhood, and that was a lot of our childhoods in my generation growing up in Dominica, not so much more now. But translating that passion into figuring out how to make that a career, an event like this would have done that. It would have guided so many of us into the field, to the point where when I started the conservation NGO at home, and I hired my first technicians, they're so good at it. They're so good at it. We call them like iguana king and queen, I don't know, I tell them all the time, listen, I don't know if insurance covering what you're doing, because the kind of a place is, they're mountain goats, pure bushmen, like, you're so good at this field, why is it that, you didn't get into the field earlier? And they would turn around and tell you that they never thought that this was a space for them. When they saw people coming and doing this research or whatever, they just thought it was some crazy white man in the bush, like, sorry to say, but that's what they thought, And so we started shifting our gear into trying to do as much community outreach as possible, get as many college students out with us as possible, because it needs to change. And that's why I'm actually doing my PhD, so that I can be able to take on undergrads and master students to do this, because the Caribbean needs to start looking like the Caribbean when it comes to the management of our resources.
Preach. Fantastic. All right. See, I know y'all just need a little, wiggle room. So we have some questions on the board. Could we scroll to the bottom? There was one for Carla, I think I saw. That was the last one? Okay. So we have a question. What events are held through EAG yearly? That's a good question, but I'm going to answer it at the end, okay? We have a question for you, Carla. Is it bad to directly involve yourself with turtles? That's the question.
Ooh, is it bad to directly involve yourself? All right, so what I will say is that it depends on your motivation. If you're going out there to fondle turtles, like you just want to stroke it, you want to squeeze it, you want to touch it, keep your hands off the people them turtles. If you are engaging in conservation activity where you are rescuing a turtle from potential death, then yes. So Instagram selfies, Facebook stories, TikTok videos, hell no. If you are putting it into a container because it was going into the road, if you are collecting it so you can call the appropriate authorities so that they can respond to it, then yes. The thing is that sea turtles, in our context, sea turtles need human intervention often to survive. But we have to understand that there is a threshold that we shouldn't cross when it comes to interacting with wildlife. So yes, there are appropriate actions to save and to help, but when it comes to the question we always ask is, how does this benefit the turtle? If the answer is not at all, and it's only benefiting you, then you don't do it.
Okay, fantastic. Give it up for Carla for answering your questions, man. Okay. So to Carla, how did you go from volunteering to making it a job? So how you start make money?
Oh, okay, so that's a really interesting one. And I will say this. First thing, conservation jobs don't have to strictly be conservation. Every field, whether it is engineering, whether it is architecture, whether it is masonry and carpentry, there are aspects of that you can use to create sustainability, that you can, reinvent the wheel in order to make things more environmentally friendly. When I was a volunteer, we get stipends in Barbados, so I used to get a stipend, and I started doing more. So the key is that I volunteered for a period of time. I got the experience, but whenever there was opportunity to do something else, I kind of jumped in. So I do work with sea turtles, but I have done work with bats. I've done work with, we have an endemic gecko at home. I've done work with the gecko. The thing is to look for opportunities and to be available, to make yourself available for them. I will say you have to keep an open mind, you have to be willing to learn, and you have to be willing to put the work in. That is what is going to be critical. I was with the Sea Turtle Project for, this year it's going to be 19 years, and I started out as a volunteer, and then it was like, oh, we don't have a social media presence, so I started doing social media stuff, and then I went to them and I said, you know what, while y'all not paying me, I need to be able to put something on my CV, so I need a title. So I am now the Director of Public Awareness and Education. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. So then I was the Director of Public Awareness and Education. And then I was like, our training isn't adequate. We need to do more to train. So I developed a training program, and I became the Assistant Field Director. And then the Field Director one day left, and I was super scared, but I stepped in. Then I started getting paid, yay. So then I became the field director of the program, and then our director retired, and I stepped into the director role. So I'm now the director of our program. But it was a case of seeing opportunities and taking them up. So continually learning, continually adding to your experiences, going out there and building skills in the field, that is really important. And then being able to market yourself. I will be frank. Lots of people have associate degrees, lots of people have A-levels, lots of people even have university degrees. What is going to make the difference on your application is the experience that you can add to the table. And often that experience does not pay. So you will have to do some things for free. But doing it, and you hear all the time, people will tell you, like musicians will say, oh, volunteering don't pay bills, and doing things for experience don't pay bills. That is true, but there is nothing like being able to build a well-rounded CV. So what I will say, what is also key, whenever you do something, record it, write it down. Don't be like me and only update your CV when somebody asks you for it and you can't remember half of what you've done for the last 3 years. Every single thing that you have done, whether it's an article you wrote for school, you went out and you did a cleanup, you participated in a survey, keep a record of it so that you can add it to your CV, because it all shows the depth of your experience and what you're bringing to the table.
Thank you, Carla. And I think her message was very important, guys. Whether you may not know specifically what you want to do, but seek out those volunteer opportunities, because they help you to gauge, okay, maybe this is not for me. Maybe my interest is elsewhere. And I just want to remind you guys, I'm so happy that we're using Slido, but please remember what I said, anonymous people do not get prizes. So make sure you put your name. There's an option at the bottom where you can put your name, so ensure that we do that. Janelle, I'm just going to give you 2 seconds. We just have one question for you. What courses do you have to take in order to become a wildlife ecologist?
Okay. It depends on how high up you want to go as a wildlife ecologist. Because to be very honest, to become a wildlife ecologist, what you really need is passion. Passion for the field, the stamina for the field. Like Carla was saying, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's one of the most rewarding things that you can go through. But if you wanted to go on and pursue tertiary education like y'all here, you would need the natural sciences. So something ecology is a course in itself, environmental sciences, conservation, management, but you can pick from different fields. So if you do environmental sciences and you volunteer with EAG or you intern with EAG and you gain that experience is actually what is going to get you into the wildlife ecology field, like Carla was saying. That experience is most important. And just to add to that, what both of y'all were saying, experience different things. Because when I started, I thought I wanted to work with big cats. I always thought I was a tiger. I was like, I'm going to go to somewhere in Asia and work with the tigers, or, what about these elephants? Like, that's so cool. I didn't think I was going to work with this, like, big squishy frog thing, But it wasn't until I started volunteering with those programs first the frogs, then the birds, and I realized, oh, birds are cool, but they're not for me. Or some of us get into this field because we don't want to interact with people, until you realize that's what most of your job is. But, there's a whole human dimensions in communication. So try your hand at that and see, is this where you want to go? Do you want to interact with the public, or do you want to be the person who runs after snakes?
Exactly. Thank you for that. So you hear, guys, just try it out. Shoot your shot. I know you have a question. Write it down. And guys, they're not going anywhere. We have a whole lunch session, so you can have a one-on-one. So please put your questions in Slido, and we'll get to them. But give it up. Round of applause for our two lovely ladies. Fantastic. So we're moving right along to the gentleman in the white, Antiguans Simmons, who is an energy officer. So take it away.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. I would like to thank EAG for inviting me, especially my good friend Aurika Hill. We've been working together for quite some time, and it's my pleasure being here. So, once again, Antiguans Simmons, I'm a mechanical engineer. And as a mechanical engineer, we have to look at a lot of things. We have to look at buildings, renewable energy, talking about solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicles. Another field that I'm engaged in is biogas production, and I'm also a farmer. Yes, I'm a farmer as well. Getting to where I am now, it was a very hard journey. I can look at y'all right now and tell you, when I left school, you left school with more subjects than I did. I can bet my life on that. Most of y'all left school with 5, 6, 7 subjects. I left with 2. 1, 2. And I decided to go and work. I went to work. And by the way, I'd like you to just take a quick guess which 2 subjects I left school with. You fail. Building technology and technical drawing. I failed maths and English. So, while I was at school, everyone, all my classmates, they were, I'm going to do 10 subjects. I'm going to do 8. I'm going to do 9. I'm going to do 7. And when it was my turn, they asked, how much you're going to do? I said, I'm only going to do 4. The teachers forbid me. They said, no, you can't do that. I said, why will I pay for more subjects when I know I'm going to fail them? I passed 2 from 4. And to most people, that would be the end of life. Yeah. No climbing the ladder. I got tired of working, and I decided, let me go back and do maths and English. I did what's the highest level in maths and English?
A-level.
Not the A-levels, in secondary.
CSEC, CXC.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I passed.
Vibes, yeah, you pass, yeah.
I passed. So I said to myself, what was I doing in school? How now that I'm working and decide to apply myself, I'm able to get a better grade than when I was in school, have nothing else to do but to study. And that was the question. And so I left from there, I got an opportunity. I went to State College. I did my CAPE and did my City and Guilds. I passed them also. And then I recognized that I was wasting a lot of time. I got a scholarship, went to Cuba for 9 years, came back with a bachelor's, came back with a master's. And what amazed me about this whole journey is that the persons who I was in secondary school with the 10 subjects,
Preach.
I've surpassed them. And so I'm sharing this with you to let you know that you can push for the highest. Don't matter how you started. Have a goal in mind and push towards that goal, okay? And you will definitely achieve some great stuff. Now I'm working with OECS, doing a collaboration with OECS, building a biodigester down at the landfill where we're using feces to produce gas, which could produce electricity. So we're talking about the green jobs. And that's green. one of my friends who is here, Dr. Christian, encouraged me into doing work in healthy buildings as a mechanical engineer. So now, because of his push, I now do designs for commercial building, which allows the buildings to be more healthy and more work-friendly.
Wow.
If you've listened to the news, there are a lot of people complaining about buildings, they're getting sick in the building, and that's where I come in now. I fix the problem, and I get paid doing it.
Wow. Give
Okay.
it up.
So I'm just going to throw this out. There's a heavy move, a heavy push for electrical vehicles, and one of the things that is needed in this field is technicians who are able to fix these vehicles. So presently, there are little to none technicians who fix these vehicles on the island. So I would encourage you, if you're looking a green job that will pay you good money, that's the field you should look at, repairing of electric vehicles, okay? So that's just my advice, and we'll continue the discussion as the day goes
Amazing.
by.
Siri, please play Started from the Bottom, Now I'm Here by Drake. Because that's exactly what it is. But that is the goal. Be tenacious. Don't be afraid to go after what you want. And just because you have a setback in life, that just means that's what it is for you. You got to push through. Awesome. Thank you for that, Mr. Simmons. Next up, we have Dr. Linwoy Christian. Give it up for him, people. And remember, think about your questions. You can start submitting them on Slido. Go ahead, Mr. Christian.
Yeah, you seriously need to stop that. All right, good morning, everyone. As indicated previously, Linroy Christian. I am currently the Director of Analytical Services. Never heard of it, I'm sure. And that's fine that we're not heard of, but you know, we do some work. My main side gig is Chairman of the Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Control Board. You may not know that either. And served on boards like Cannabis. I know you heard about that one. Medicinal Cannabis Authority, National Solid Waste. Yeah, I got a lot of jobs. And I've worked, as I just said with him, with respect to indoor air quality. But that's what I do now. Where I started, high school, Princess Margaret High School. I don't know how many people in here actually went to PM, but I don't know. None?
Put up your
Nobody
hand
in
if
here
you went
went
to
to
PM, man. Be proud of you. Yes, stand up, miss. Be proud of yourself. Yeah.
I don't know. She seems as if she don't want to tell anybody that. But anyway. So then went on to Antigua State College, of course. And then to University of West Indies, Cave Hill. So at Cave Hill, and I mean, Carla, I know her from when she was a student at Cave Hill. And there I would have done biology and chemistry, you know, natural sciences. I preferred the biology more because I preferred things that, you know, would kill you in a more interesting way.
Yes.
So I would have specialized more in microbiology, molecular biology, but I always had to keep the chemistry there because chemistry is actually very important to a lot of things. So leaving Cave Hill, well, I spent a lot of time there. So I did my first degree, master's, also did my PhD at Cave Hill, and I worked with a lot of gut bacteria. So not the most fun time mixing feces and stuff. And yeah, it was awesome. And of course, the molecular biology was always a great interest of mine. I love working with DNA. And I love finding out, I love the genetics of things. But transitioning back to Antigua is like, what on earth do you do with this?
Real.
And then you come to this department, and I walk in, and I'm like, you guys work? But yeah, back then it's called the Chemistry and Food Technology Division. Didn't hear about that either, right? But let me just get to the more interesting part of what we actually do. We test food, water, air, and soil, all of these things are done. When you go to the beach and you go into the water and you realize, you look at, you see the nice green algae on the rocks that you see, and you're like, oh, that is so nice. That is probably an indicator of excessive nitrogenous pollution. But anyway, you look at life a little bit more differently as a scientist. The glass of water that you drink, oh, that's so awesome. And then you put ice in it. I didn't want to go there. But but I could get into all the things that could probably not make you so well. But we're not going to do that. We're going to stay positive today.
Yeah, let's stay positive, man. Yeah. Next person. Oh.
So the other part of my job, which is, of course, pesticides and toxic chemicals control, all of the chemicals that come into this country that are used in various areas, most of them you take for granted. You take for granted, in most cases, lighting a mosquito coil, and we banned that thing and people got so upset. We look at skin lightening creams, you're like, oh, he got done bleaching cream in Antigua because everybody love for bleach now. Anyway, but they don't think about the mercury that's in the skin lightening cream that destroys your liver, that destroys your kidney, that destroys your brain. And then the fellas don't think about it because women are bleaching. Well, I guess some of the fellas doing it now too, but anyway. But you don't think about the fact that you interact with the person that is. So you get a nice little dose of mercury too. I'm just saying.
Wow.
However, to make it more uplifting.
We haven't reached there yet, so go ahead.
Yeah.
The uplifting part.
One good thing about my job, I get to travel a lot of places.
Oh.
So one of the other things we do, because Antigua signs on to a lot of these conventions, and you've heard of the triple planetary crisis, right? Boy, y'all got to read. So the triple planetary crisis is climate change, biodiversity loss,
yes,
and now we have chemicals and waste, which they add as the stepchild. Now, chemicals and waste, that's where we come in, because the issue of chemicals in the very air that you breathe. You think about Sahara dust, right?
Yeah.
It comes from the Sahara. Transboundary movement. If dust can make it that far, how far could chemicals get to you? So we have sample sites in Antigua where we actually have one at UE, where we change out every 3 months and we test the mercury that is in those cartridges. That's the mercury that comes in the air from the environment, that you breathe in every day that you may not know, that comes from an entirely different place on the planet. So when we go to these conventions, so we go all over the world to these meetings, I don't have a very good time. Who likes to go to Africa and Paris? I mean, who does that?
I don't know. Who does that? You?
My job is very difficult.
Oh my gosh, wow. Let's talk about the DSA. Oops.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah. So, but we have to go to represent not just Antigua and Barbuda, the entire region as well, including South America. And we have to put forward what our perspectives are as it relates to protecting human health and the environment in our region. So we talk about conservation as well, how these chemicals and waste issues affect the birds that fly, the trees that grow. These are some of the issues that we have to bring forward. And you have to fight against the political side of things. I'm not here to bash politicians. I might get fired by tomorrow. But the issue is that human health issues are often trumped by either interest from private sector, because of course private sector must make money. So if they market a product to you that eventually may harm you, at least they make some money from it before they get rid of it. And then the interest of governments to create industries and jobs. So you have to look at straddling how we may affect one another and the environment and allowing us also to be prosperous. And that is the fine line that we walk sometimes when we have to negotiate on behalf of our countries. So that is just a snapshot of what I do. We may not be terribly exciting in some ways, but science, I love science. The application of science, there are very many areas you can apply science. You may take biology and chemistry for granted, but when you actually look at whether it is cosmetics, whether it is design, a lot of these things come into play. All right, so thank you very much.
Fantastic. Give it up. So we had two very different presentations. One was very uplifting and encouraging and made me feel like maybe I need to consider having a next career in conservation. And the other one made me afraid of what's in the ice at the hotels. But that's to show you the variety that we have here. And I just want to mention to you guys, if you're not following us on our socials, make sure you do that. EAG Antigua, we're here for you. And to our people online, our schools, make sure you're asking your questions. So let's delve right into it. I think we had one question from Samara, I believe it was. How can we make a contribution, or how can she make a contribution as a future architect in this environmental field? Oh, you're here. You want to ask your question? Yes, you want the mic? Oh, oops, go ahead. You can ask your question. Press the button.
Hi, good morning. I have a question for Mr. Simmons. You mentioned that you make and improve buildings to become more healthy. How exactly do you make them more sustainable?
So, how do I make them more sustainable? So one of the things happen within buildings is that most time a building is constructed and then we just stick air conditioning in there. And with that method, what you actually have is just the same air within the space being chilled or cooled, but it's being recirculating within that space without no treatment. Now, there are regulations within building where you must allow a certain amount of fresh air to come into the space, and you must also remove a certain amount of stale air out of the space. And so when those two are neglected, that is where you have the terminology, a sick building, where people begin to get sick because there's growth of mold and mildews and other air infectious fungi and disease. So what we do now, we create we implement mechanical systems within the building that will bring the fresh air in and that will take the stale air out. And so you have this constant fresh circulation of air for human comfort. So that's what we do.
Perfect. Okay, let's take a question from Slido, and I'll be back to you. What requirements are needed to study green engineering, Mr. Simmons? I guess maybe this is a question that you could answer. And sorry, when you're writing your questions too, please write the acronym of your school so we know which institution you're with. Thank you.
Requirements. Well, it's basically, we leave school. Normally, you look at what type of degree, what type of career you are going to pursue. And so the foundation is to have the necessary education that is needed to enter. I don't like to say it that way, but to enter into the field that you so desire. Because why I say that? Because there are persons who do not have education qualification, but they have been doing well in the field because of their drive and the experience that they have gathered over the years. So some people get away because of that. They have gathered some amount of experience into whatever field they desired, and that was okay back then. But for now, there's a higher push or requirement for educational subjects, paperwork, in order for you to get into whatever field you need to get in. So that's why it's so important for us to be schooled and to be trained and to have the necessary subjects and degrees that we need to pursue the jobs that we're looking for.
Okay, perfect. Just to let you know, somebody has a question. How do you convert feces into energy? But I feel like you should answer that after. So whoever asks, oh, that's your question? Great, that's the next question. How do you convert energy to feces? Yeah, feces to energy, sorry, oops.
So, we have a biodigester, as I sit down at the Cook's landfill. And what you do, you create a oxygen-free environment. And so the feces enter into a chamber. Human feces, animal feces, green waste, whatever you need to put in there. And then it ferments. And during that fermentation period, you have some anaerobic bacteria. And those bacteria creates the gas. They eat what you put in there, and they create the gas from what is inside. So there's a time frame in which that gas will be produced, and so you monitor the time frame. Sometimes you have to monitor the temperature changes and so forth. You have to monitor what you put in because it can disrupt the whole system. So it's like a cow's belly. I don't know if you ever watched any YouTube video when they had to punch the cow's belly because it becomes bloated. Yeah. It's methane. So they have to punch the cow belly and release the gas or it will kill the cow. So it's a fermentation process that takes place within the system. It's not hard to do. Actually, I was an advocate of turning septic tanks into biodigester systems.
Wow.
That way we will buy less gas to cook with.
Okay.
Anyway.
Fantastic. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask it's on? A question for you, Dr. Christian, I think it is. You said you're interested in DNA and microbiology. What do you think of the genetic modification of the crops that we import and consume here?
Right. So the GMOs, or what we call living modified organisms, yeah. So Antigua is actually one of the countries that signed on to that convention to not import or to release those without the proper, there's actually a set of guidelines that you have to go through before you release them into the environment. Now, genetic modification is something that happens in plants naturally, and you can do so within the laboratory in quite safe ways. However, as long as you observe the time period for assessing the new varieties to determine that because the product of a gene is a protein, so that gene codes for a specific protein. When that protein enters into a human body, it may or may not have an effect. And therefore, once you're able to determine what is that gene product, how can you assess it, then you have to do field trials. And then based on those trials, you may terminate that particular genetically modified plant, and therefore it never makes it to market. So genetic modification, I am not against it, obviously, but the safe deployment and use of it is important. So you just can't have anyone modifying a plant and then marketing it into a country that may not even have the particular standards to monitor it. So as long as you observe those protocols, genetically modified foods are actually not a problem. There's a natural way to do it, and there's a human-induced way of doing it.
Okay, we only have time for one more question from the crowd, so definitely shoot your question.
Good day, my name is Charisma Tong from Antigua State College. I have a question for Mr. Simmons. What are some of the challenges that you have faced throughout your entire journey?
My biggest challenge was actually learning. I almost quit university, and my dear wife, thank God for her, she encouraged me to continue. So my biggest challenge was really to stay and to learn, because it's not easy. And the conditions that we were under to learn was some of the worst. And so that was my biggest challenge. The rest was quite simple.
Thank you. All right, give it up for our two presenters. Fantastic. And Dr. Christian, at the end, we want to know what's in the ice. It doesn't have to be detailed, but the people want to know. So at the end, you have to address that question. Okay? So moving on, next to our next presenter, we have the lovely Desley Gardner, who is an archaeologist. And also after her, we have the wonderful Giselle Wilson, our very own wildlife officer. So Desley and Josh, carry it away.
Reloaded. Hello. Good morning, everyone. I am Desley Gardner. I am technically a heritage resources supervisor. Y'all get promotion.
Hey.
Thank you. Hold your applause. But I am actually a trained archaeologist, and I have a master's in World Heritage Studies. And it's been a journey. Let's go back. Okay, so I went to the Antigua Girls High School.
Whoop, whoop, whoop!
Yes, honeybees, meles bonum, sices doctrina. That's the only Latin I know. But exceptionally, I went to that school, and when I was in third form, I met this remarkable man. He came in to give a guest lecture, Dr. Reg Murphy. He's an archaeologist here, and he was giving us a lecture on Amerindians. And I had only known basic understanding of Amerindians. Columbus met them, he killed them, you know. But then, learning more about Antigua and our connection with the Amerindian history, I was like, I want to do this. So I told Dr. Murphy, I want to be an archaeologist. I was 15 years old, and who tell me say that? The man not let me alone ever again.
Wow.
Right? But it's good when you talk out what you want in life. It's good to say it out near because you never know who's listening. And it's good that somebody took me under their wing.
Yes.
And there I was, a young 15-year-old. I remember I went on many archaeological digs, even here in Fiddish Creek, over by Blackman's. And the third time I went to dig, it was the day after my prom from Antigua Girls High School. So, you know, I had been weave, I had a long nails. And they're like, because it was students from overseas that came, and they're like, oh, where this girl here go? You know, I'm young, I'm black. I stand out, and I have on nails and fake hair. So then they were like, she's not serious. Because I didn't have any archaeology clothes, you know. So I was there, and I did the work. The nails didn't bother me. The fact that I hadn't weaved in, I did the work. I went down in the dirt. And you know, the nails come in handy when you have to sift through the dirt, looking for beads. Guess who was the only person that found something that day? Okay? All right. So that started my journey. I got a lot of experience, and I was wondering, okay, where can I go and study? I went to the Antigua State College, and it was a good stepping stone for me, gave me a better understanding of history and doing research, and the amount of essay I write, Jesus. So I did a lot of writing, but it came in handy for later on. So after Antigua State College, I decided I could go to any university I want. So I applied to many of them in the UK, many in America, and of course in the Caribbean. I got accepted to all, but the University of the West Indies, Mona campus in Jamaica, was the one that I chose, and the one you should choose as well. and the one in Five Islands. But if you want to study archaeology, it's best to study Caribbean archaeology. And I think it was essential that I went and studied that because I saw a lot of gaps that were missing. Because when I graduated, I became the only female archaeologist that Antigua has. And I am now in a man's world, a black woman in a white man's world, if we're being real. So now I'm at the table, and I'm not only young, black, female, but I'm the only one with my perspective, right? So the main thing I want you to get out of everybody that's up here is that you're going to be an innovator. You're going to be the one that's going to come up with very unique solutions. Because yes, I'm studying archaeology, I'm doing World Heritage Management, but it has to be very unique and geared towards my Caribbean reality. And that's something we seem to forget. We think that we are in the US and we go to Walmart and we can just put camera on anybody. Our reality is very different.
Yeah.
The way how we move in the world is very different. And understanding how to manage our cultural resources in the midst of trying to be an economic powerhouse, it's crazy. It's a lot of things you have to consider, because I can come here and tell you, Casa Palmelita can't be here because this is an archaeological site. But am I going to hinder somebody from having a business in this country because of a site that is basically a scattered ruin that is better off being displaced? So it's also understanding when to pull the plug and when to encourage people to highlight something that's very significant. Because in the midst, currently I work at the National Parks Authority. So archaeology is important there, but I'm also doing cultural resource management, which is intertwixt with development control. So of course, people want to build within areas that are archaeologically sensitive. So now I have to be an architectural conservationist. I have to be an authority, a police officer. I also have to understand, okay, I'm on land, but now I have to go underwater because we have underwater archaeological sites that are also providing a great ecosystem for our natural resources like coral reefs, provide great incubators for these natural elements in our world. And the tourists love to go and look at these. So am I going to take up the shipwreck and bring it above land when Antigua don't have any conservation lab? I'm not a crazy person. So it's just understanding our realities and these different elements that we have to go for and really become realists. Because it sounds great to say, oh, I'm an archaeologist, but are you effective?
Yep.
Are you really helping people to understand Antigua's culture and heritage? Interpretation becomes a big thing, so now I'm a museum curator. So the blanket label of archaeologists really is limiting, because in our reality, I have to be so much more. And hopefully, when you all go off to further your studies, I can add you to the team, because what I found is working within my power, I know who to call, right? So I don't have to be a forensic archaeologist, thank God, because I prefer my bones without flesh. But the police need a forensic archaeologist. They really do. So they can stop calling me, right? Because we have a few murders here and there, a few bodies being found, and they're fresh. It would be good if somebody can handle that. So I'm here to encourage you to use Google. Google is your best friend, because that's how I learned about all the different types of archaeologists. It is not paleontology. Antigua doesn't have dinosaurs. I am looking at human material culture. Things that we leave behind. The same trash, not the feces, the same trash that is down by Cooks Hill. Someday somebody's going to find that and learn about us Antiguans, what we're eating, what we're consuming, the type of things we use with type of clothes we wear, and you see history repeat itself over and over. But we can also change that trajectory and determine whether or not, when people look back at Antigua and Antiguans and Barbudans, they'll know, okay, this is what defines us. So that is really what I hope that you learn from this whole symposium. Let me turn it over to Josh.
Whoop, whoop. Give it up for Desley.
This is going to be amazing, ain't it? All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joshua Wilson. I am a marine wildlife and conservation biologist. I am also the wildlife officer here at the EAG. Everyone kind of spoke about every little thing that they did. I guess I'll just to motivate the youths. I'm just like you guys. I'm probably the youngest one on this panel here. So just to motivate you guys, I think the best thing I could do is probably tell you my story and how I got here and why I'm in this field. So I got in this field, as Carla would say, or Janelle would say, to get away from people. My interest is not people whatsoever. It's never been people, it's always been animals and wildlife. I've always had a thing for animals ever since I was young. Moving on from that, my next thing in life was to actually become a YouTuber, streaming on video games on YouTube. I thought I would have been at home at my parents' house just streaming YouTube for the rest of my life.
I'm learning a lot about you, Josh. I love it.
But as my mom would say, that's not something I should be doing. I should actually learn as much skills as possible. So I'm going to list off a lot of things that I've done in my life. So one of the main things my parents or my family has taught me is to butcher animals, right? Even though I love them, that's one thing they always taught me is to survive. I didn't grow up middle class. I grew up pretty poor. So that was one thing we had to learn. Then we moved up to the ranks. Just moving on to my college years, best thing my mom wanted me to do was business. Start my own business, do what I need to do. I really was not thinking of becoming a conservationist or anything to do with environment at that time. But to me, environment was always with me during that time. So let's forget about college. Let's move on to uni now. So because my interest for conservation, wildlife, animals, I actually wanted to become a vet. So I actually started off veterinary school when I was back in university. So that was my first thing. I started off being a vet. And as Janelle said, I had no interest in dealing with domesticated animals. Not whatsoever. I like domesticated animals. Dogs, cats, I love them, but not dealing with them, not opening them up, not trying to euthanize them in any way, even though I had to euthanize some animals during the time. So because I didn't want to actually stick with veterinary, I talked to one of my advisors, and the best advice he gave me, he was in charge of our program at the time, which is marine wildlife and conservation biology. So the best thing he told me is just do a little bit of conservation on the side, and then maybe you could switch over. So that's what I did. Probably 2 years into veterinary school, I was like, yeah, that's not for me, and I switched over to marine wildlife and conservation biology, and then my life was kind of like a standstill, and then after that, it kind of hit the highs. So one of the best things that came out of that is that I actually rediscovered one of our critically endangered blind snakes that is said to be extirpated from Grenada. That's where I'm from, if that wasn't clear. Yeah, so then during my time in uni, I learned a lot of things. I dealt with fish, I dealt with seagrass, I dealt with coral reefs, I dealt with mangroves. We did a little bit of shark work, right? But my main thing was snakes, and I've always been a lover of apex predators. So snakes, sharks, those type of apex predator, wolves, that's always been my thing. And fast forward, after finishing my degree at uni, let's come on to EAG, which is the best story I could always tell anybody, all right? So it was during COVID times, 2021. It was 2021, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't remember COVID that well. So 2021, I was pretty much finished with uni, bored out of my mind because it was COVID time, so there was nothing to do, all right? And our restrictions back home in Grenada wasn't that good as it was here. We were only allowed to go out and make groceries once every week. So you know how that could be. That could be a killer. So my biologist at the time, my coordinator at the time, he actually sent me EAG's flyer, the TOR, I think, for it to be an intern, a rat intern on Green Island. And that's where pretty much it kind of blew up after that, is that I got to meet the EAG team, spent 2 months on Green Island killing rats, and also dealing with the best snake in the region at the moment, which is the critically endangered Antiguan racer. After that, I fell in love with the Antiguan racer, not Antigua yet, because I barely spent time on the island. I spent it more on Green Island. And then, then leaving Antigua, after we were done with the eradication, I was like, okay, I'm done with the EAG after that. Gone to England to visit my uncle and everything. Then I got a call from Shanna, actually, asking to meet. And I was like, I already sent you your data. I don't think we need to meet about anything again, right?
Wow. Wow. Okay, Shanna.
But not knowing that the meeting was to offer me a job, which is what I'm doing right now as a wildlife officer at EAG. And because, well, wasn't making money from volunteering, as Carla would say, no money in that. But the good thing is I was pretty much available at the time, and I wanted to, and I fell in love with the Antiguan racer. So that's how I'm here at the moment. So just a little journey from there to here, and then working with the EAG, working with these fantastic people, like getting to know them was amazing. And the other opportunity would be the opportunities that EAG actually gives you, which is allowing me to work with sea turtles, working with sharks, right? And working, again, with the critically endangered Antiguan racer, also visiting one of the most or should I say the best island in Antigua right now, which is Redonda, right?
Wow,
Right?
Josh, don't get me emotional.
Right, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So the best advice I could give you guys is to always try to step out of your comfort zone, right? Even though you think you're not going to be something or be where you have to be, it takes time. Just do it and love what you do and just have passion for what you do, because that's the only thing you could do in this life. Just love what you do and be happy with what you can do. Thank you.
Fantastic. You know what? I can see a common theme between you and Desley was that you guys had, in some way, a mentor. You had somebody who pulled you in, took you under their wing, and said, hey, I'm going to guide you. And I'm so happy that we can have this opportunity, because you never know, maybe one of these individuals, depending on where you want to go in life, they can be your mentor, and they can guide you along. And I just love that also opportunities come through volunteering. You may not see it now, but you have to trust the process and you have to be tenacious. So it's time for the questions. So let's get it started. Okay, I'm visually challenged, so I'm walking over here. Don't judge me. Okay. So the first question we have, why should we care about archaeology and history, Desley?
Hello. Know the name for the question? Yes. Who it is?
I don't want to mispronounce your name, but it's a person from State College, Ikelah.
Okay.
Oh, you went up. Oh, okay.
Okay, so thank you for your question. I think it's a very valuable question, because if these things are underneath the ground, why should we resurface them? Why should we look at them? It's the same how somebody could ask, why you have an Instagram profile if you only have 3 followers? Who is this for? You know, what is the value there? And luckily for us as Antiguans and Barbudans, we get to apply the value onto our archaeological findings, our material culture. And when I find Afro-Antiguan pottery, so pottery made by our ancestors who were enslaved, pottery that was used as their resource of their act of rebellion against enslavement, that is valuable to me because it's something that we still use today. Well, at least in my household, we still use a coal pot, my love one roast can, and all these elements of my culture, like my dukana and my fungi, were made in these kind of pots. So we applied that value when we said, this is our national dish. So the reason why, when you see an archaeological site, I think it's so valuable because our biggest Amerindian archaeological site is Indian Creek. And that is in the Piccadilly English Harbor area, right? That site has over 3,000 years of inhabitants. Now, some of you were born in the 2000s. I was born in the late 20th century, all right? And my mother was born in the 60s, all right? So, that's not 3,000 years yet. Okay, we haven't even lived for 3,000 years. Some of us are not even from generations previously. Our ancestors have not even lived 3,000 years. 3,000 years of occupation is so valuable in the Caribbean, and we just have it hidden over there in Piccadilly. It's so essential to Caribbean archaeology that other Amerindian sites from Dominica, where they say they have them, right? They come to Antigua to reference the pottery found in Indian Creek. Now, they use the pottery to date when the inhabitants happened. You know that beautiful place, Jumbi Bay, that none of us ever been to? Right? Keep quiet. Jumbi Bay. You know that was a great resource for Amerindians. It was Flint City, Long Island Flint, right? Long Island Flint was so valuable to Amerindians. They would come over here on their canoes. They would go over to Long Island, Jumbi Bay, and they would manufacture their flint arrowheads, knives, everything. Kind of use it like an Epicurean, collect all their resources, and then leave Antigua. So that Long Island flint can be found along the Caribbean island chain, and then all the way over to South America. Could you imagine? Little Antigua, the dot they talk about on the map. right? What's the biggest? Well, the biggest person we have is what? Vivian Richards. But not knowing even before we had a Vivian Richards making an international impact, we had Flint. Now, we don't have use for Flint now because we're using metal knives, but it was so crucial to skinning a iguana. You know, I prefer my animals deceased. But skinning a iguana now, when I find the bones now, I trace this iguana bone. This iguana is not indigenous to Antigua. How this iguana from South America reach Antigua? No, I don't believe iguana can walk, right? Somebody had to bring it here or you float across, all right? On a piece of wood, right? That's how we get here. And now these people take it and eat it. And now we're learning about their dietary conditions. So archaeological sites are crucial to understanding our people and how we now have adapted these ways in 2024 from millions of years ago. So it's watching the trajectory of what Antigua started out as and what we are today. And many of us wouldn't stand as tall as we did if we didn't realize I come from a family of great people. And if you don't know that history, then you can't relate to it. If you don't know Antigua and what Antigua and Barbuda is about, then you can't say, I'm a proud Antiguan, truthfully, because you don't understand all of those elements that make up Antigua. But the thing is, and I'm bringing it full circle, we can't understand any of this without protecting it. And even with what is happening with climate change, it's impacting our archaeological sites, especially since most of these Amerindian sites are coastal. So erosion, the heating up of the ocean, all of that is impacting our archaeological sites as well. And if we don't learn what is there now, we can lose it forever. And we'll never have an understanding of our way, our relationship with the Amerindian culture. And then, hey, y'all need to eradicate those. We will understand our connection to Amerindians, our connections to the African persons that were brought here, and then also the European culture that is so heavily influenced. We're sitting under this building here, and I've been looking up in this roof, and I'm seeing influence from the Amerindian hut, but then I'm also seeing the later on European architectural elements that allow the airflow to be circulating in here so effectively. So once you start to educate yourself on certain things, you start to look on your world differently. So it's just, what was the question? It's just bringing everything to understand that archaeological sites help us to understand who we are and how we interact with our world.
Yeah, you answered it. Just
Thank
basically
you.
why is it important and how it pertains to history. Great. We have a question up front.
Good afternoon. Ms. Gardner, I have a question for you again. I would assume, and I think I'm right from what I'm hearing from you, that you would work closely with like a lot of anthropologists as well in archaeology. And I guess my question is, what is the like anthropological community, like expert community in Antigua looking like right now?
That's a great question. So archaeology is an arm of anthropology. It's studying human culture, material, or otherwise, right? So it's more focused on past cultural studies, but here in Antigua, we have 3 archaeologists, myself, Dr. Reginald Murphy, and Dr. Chris Waters, and 2 of us are Antiguan, and so that's us. But luckily, because anthropology is such a broad field, it also includes sociological studies. So we do have researchers, just a few, who are looking at sociological theories and applying them in areas like economics, so understanding our economic theory. So if you've heard of the Marxists, the socialists, right? So these things come over into politics as well. So 2 things can be true at once, right? You can't have one without the other. So although somebody may not be calling themselves solely an anthropologist, they are practicing forms of anthropology. So it's not exclusive, and that is important to note because you're not going to be one thing. Because if I was just an archaeologist, I would never work, okay? Because who's going to hire me to just be digging all day? And with the effects of climate change, the sun on my skin, and remember, I can't use the mercury in the bleaching cream to keep my brown color. Right? I shouldn't. Right? But I look like I'm brown in, right? But anyway, but seriously, the thing is, you will never, ever just be one thing. And that would be ridiculous to be. Okay? Because as an archaeologist now, you're asking me to be a public speaker to convey to you why it's important. So there's going to be so many ways that you're going to pull on things. Like, if you have a foreign language, hold on to that, please. Because I went to Guadeloupe the other day for work.
So Dr. Christian is the only one traveling here.
Okay, me her passport too.
Oops.
Right? And I had to be pulling on French from third form because, Jano, they're asking me things. They're like, ça va? And I'm like, ça va? And that's where it ends. Stop. We're done talking. But yes, so you'll never be one thing. So all of you can be anthropologists just by, because anthropology comes up in marketing. Knowing your audience, knowing, okay, Digicel, no, that going to get a loan for a car is ridiculous. So of course, they're gonna look at their demographic and realize, okay, everybody like the Mazda CX-3, so we're gonna advertise, top up your phone $100, and you're entered to win. And you're like, yeah man, the Mazda for me. Yes, who win the Mazda? Up to now, we don't know. But it was effective marketing because they knew their target audience. If they said they're targeting persons in your demographic and you have to create a TikTok video, of course you have TikTok already, right? Right? So if you have to create a TikTok, that's anthropology. That's studying human behavior and realizing how to, I don't want to use manipulate, but manipulate it to effectively get the results that you want. So we all practice it. But we don't exclusively call ourselves anthropologists. Thank you for your question.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Ms. Gardner. We have, a person here at the front with a question. Go ahead. Just press the button quickly. Thank you.
No, my question was originally to Mr. Simmons, right? My question was, do you think that the buildings in Antigua would be a lot healthier if there was a strict maintenance schedule regimen implemented by the government?
Yes, I think so.
Can I piggyback on that question? Also, if we practice proper architectural conservation, because a lot of our buildings are also historical buildings. However, we're taking a building that is 200 years old and adding modern day elements to it. We're not understanding all the elements of the building. So some of these buildings have old mold from since when? And then we're putting in AC, and we love an AC. And the AC will run, especially if it's a government building, the light on, the AC on for the whole weekend. Who is in the building? And these things, after a while, you just see things just start to crumble a little bit here. We ignore it, put a little paint on that, right? And over a period of time. And that is why when you're studying engineering, civil engineering, and so on, do not limit yourself to just modern understandings, because yes, we're not going to tear down all our buildings, but we also have to understand how do we have a balance between preserving these these architectural treasures from the past, but also moving into the future. So understanding that as well would be ideal in maintaining our buildings, because half of St. John's is already gone. All our historical buildings are basically gone. We only have a few more. And those that are currently there, we're trying to reverse modern intrusions that weren't compatible with them. So it's understanding all elements of preserving a building. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to get back to the questions. Please write down your questions. We just have to remember the people in the virtual space. They're only with us for T-8 minutes. So we're going to wrap things up for them, but the party continues with us afterwards, okay? So please don't forget your questions, all right? So let's give it up a round of applause for all our panelists. Fantastic. It
was an awesome session. They all had a wealth of information to provide for us, and I'm so happy that we're fortunate to have this space for them to share with us. And I'm happy that you guys were interested in what they were saying and interacting. All right, so we're moving on. We have some Slido question, the quiz? Yes, for now. All right, so if you could, just tell them to zoom in. Yep. Great. If you're not already on Slido, you could see, just go on your phone and you can go to slido.com, SLIDO.com, and you can put in that code, and we're just going to take a quick quiz. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. So once you're in there, please just raise your hand and let me know so we are not forgetting you, okay? Oh, yes, and there's prizes, because that's what's coming next, the prizes. We're all in? No? Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey, oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, we're ready. Ready.
We're ready. 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 We're ready. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Ready. Ready. Ready. Ready.
Look how the sun now raising up, and the crowd now waking up. The atmosphere have vibes, and nothing can break it up. The girl never wine non-stop. We are the drinks them in a my cup. We gonna party all night, all night. 24 parties we hit in a row. Tonight at the very last show. Before we are not on the road, the girl never release the road. So let me see your hands up, so everybody know, put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend.
Are you ready for the prizes?
We're ready for the road.
Oh, nobody is ready. Oh,
we're ready for the road.
That them Reggie.
We're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready.
Okay,
we're ready.
So remember,
We're
there's
ready.
a time limit. There's a time limit, so you need to answer very quickly. So how many offshore islands does Antigua have? Yeah. 41? Okay, that is correct. Fantastic. Love that. Next question. Oh, we have a leaderboard. Who's leading? Natoya, you're leading. Go. All right. Oh. Next question. How many Antiguan racer snakes are left on the planet? 400, 1,200, 10,000, or 100? 400. Josh, you're hearing these answers? You're saying 400. 100? You're just calling out the answers? It's 100 left. Okay. Anybody agree with her? No. There are people saying no. Y'all don't think it's 10,000? Of course not. Okay. 1,000? I don't know. Y'all don't think we have 10,000 racers on offshore islands? No? Yes. Are we ready? Okay, let's go. Okay, one of our panelists said that they're going with 400. So a lot of people said that they think we have 1,200 remaining. And what's the correct answer? Da-da-da-da. Only 400 remaining. All right. And who's leading now? Esther, you are leading. All right. We have 3 more questions, so let's go. The game can be yours. Next question. How many critically endangered lizards call Redonda their home? Is it 6? Is it 5? Is it 4? Or is it 3? What are you feeling? Y'all know about Redonda? Oh, y'all don't even know about Redonda? Lord God Almighty. Y'all know Redonda is the 3rd island? Y'all know it's Antiguans Barbudans and Redonda?
Y'all know there are lizards on there that you can't find anywhere else in the world? Y'all didn't know that? Okay. All right. Well, when you're doing a test, you just guess. So we're saying 3? Somebody said 3? Okay, my lady here from commercial is shouting 3. Anybody else? 5, 6, and 3. Okay, let's go to the answers. Let's go. 4 up front. So a lot of people said 3. 3 and 4 in a tie. So which one is it? You feel like Shanna says she thinks it's 6. Let's see who's right, Shanna. What are they saying? It is 3. You go. Fantastic. All right. Esther, you're still in number 1 place. Nobody can trouble you. Go on up with your good self. Anyways, the next question. How many sea turtles nest in Antigua and Barbuda? How many sea turtles? The AMCP coordinator is at the back if you want to ask him. He's standing up very shy and looking behind. Maybe he can give you a clue. How many sea turtles? The key word is nest. Nest in Antigua and Barbuda. Let's see the options. We have, 7, 5, 2, 3, 10. Okay, a lot of people are saying what? 3? Okay, y'all don't think it's 10? Okay, not 5? Okay, you think it's 5, right? You feeling the 5? You need to ask Carla the answer. Well, Mrs. Simmons thinks it's the 5. Let's see the answer. Wait, the crowd, what y'all think? My lady, 3? Anybody else? 3? Can you name them? No, okay, honesty is the best policy. Can you name 1? Okay, wait, hold on. We have somebody you can name them. Go ahead. The Hawksbill, Leatherback, the green sea turtle. Anything else? We missing anyone? Okay, let's go. Was the gentleman right? He indeed was right. Give him a round of applause. Congratulations. All right, Esther, you're still in first place. Tall man. All right, let's see if Esther is going to remain there. Which bird is endemic to Antigua and Barbuda? Endemic means, what does endemic mean? The person at the back? The person said only found in Antigua and Barbuda, and that is correct. Which bird is endemic to Antigua and Barbuda? Y'all know the bird on the screen? Y'all don't know that bird? The magnificent frigate bird. That's the bird on the screen. Okay, let's see the options for the answer. Shanna, we have a garland. Y'all know what a garland is? We have a brown pelican. Y'all know what a brown pelican is? We have the Barbuda warbler. Y'all know what that is? You think it's real? I don't know. We have the magnificent frigate bird. Okay, you remember what we said? Endemic to Antigua and Barbuda. So Shanna said, if this question is wrong, nobody eating. That's basically what she just said.
That them Reggie. Show them what we do.
Yeah, let's show them what we can do, Spaniard, because I don't know. So y'all ready? Any guesses from the audience? The gentleman at the back? Go ahead, turn on your mic.
Barbuda Warbler.
The Barbuda Warbler? You think so?
I'm a deserve a prize, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Show him the answer. Yeah, he deserves a prize. The guy in the back. Yeah, show him the answer. Let's see. Anybody agrees with him? Anyone who wants to dispute this? No? Somebody had up their hand. Yes. What do you think it is?
Magnificent.
Are you Esther? You think it's the magnificent frigate bird? What do you think it is?
I think it's the Barbuda warbler because the frigate birds, they migrate over to Florida, I think, when it's mating season.
Okay. Okay. I hear. Let's done this. Let's done this right now. What the answer, Shanna? What the answer? The Barbuda what? Stand up. Walk out. Yeah. You win prize. Yeah. You know the thing them. Yeah.
No. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
All right. Although he got that answer right, Esther is still in number 1, please. All right. Where's Esther? Stand up, Esther. Stand up. Yeah. Give Esther a round of applause. You go, Esther. Woo. Well, it's time, people. It's time to announce the winners of the prize. Now, I want to say I don't control this aspect. I only deliver the information that is delivered to me. So if y'all want to rebut anything, take it up with management. And you're gonna ask who management is, figure it out.
What?
Yeah, so let me, let's see the first prize. Let's show the people what they're gonna get. Trinity. Desley. Let me behave myself, okay? Anyways, the first prize is a Redonda. Oh, the Road to Recovery, Redonda. You know what? I might give away a special prize. Can you identify the two people in the picture? Right there. Do you know them? Do they look familiar? They're silhouettes. You have to identify two of them. Yeah, and you get RER tumbler. Special edition black. Can you identify anybody? Quick, let's go. You have to move fast. It's what? Somebody said, me? Me? There are two people, so me and
Miss.
Oh, yeah.
Janella and Sharla.
Sharla, who named Sharla? Yeah, who? Just and Janelle? Oh, who knows those handles? Let's move on here. Two people. Oh, who has up their hand? Yes, you. Janella and Arika. Okay.
Janella and Carla.
Okay. In the middle right
Josh.
here. Who?
Janella and Joshelle.
Janella and Joshelle. Okay. Gentleman at the back. You not looking behind. Who? Janella and Shanna. Okay. Well, yeah, it is Janella and Shanna. So wow, you are a winner here. All right. Okay. Okay. Questions. We're gonna ask some more questions. Okay. What are the three main programs at the EAG? Can you name them? Three main programs. I saw your hand. Okay, actually, he's reading the banner. Who do you think? Who do you take me for? Who do you take me for?
You asked the question, so I had to answer.
That's actually the wrong answer. That's what we do. I asked what are our three programs.
I tried.
But that's okay. That's a good try.
Jesus!
I appreciate that. But no, the three main programs that we have at the EAG. Does anybody know? No? You. Okay, you take a guess. Okay, hold on. We're bringing the mic to you. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know the actual names.
Okay.
Something to do with sea turtles.
Sea turtles.
The Antigua racist snake.
The Antigua racist snake.
And I'm gonna guess something to do with migratory birds.
Migratory birds. Okay. Anybody wants to give any other answers? What? Wait, hold on there. Pass the mic over. I didn't hear. Linroy, behave. Oh, go ahead.
I was asking what's the answer.
No, you weren't. Don't try to fool me like that. Chaz, bring the mic over to this lady if she doesn't have. Oh, you have one? Go ahead.
I'm going to say the sea turtles.
Uh-huh. Okay. Archaeology? Wow, I hope my boss is hearing these answers because I really don't know what.
Okay. Wait, hold on. With the iguanas.
Iguanas. Wow, now you're all creating a whole new work program for us here. Wow, I really love it. Any other answers? Did I see hands that I'm missing? You, go ahead. Esquire. Sea turtle. The snakes, then Redonda. Anybody else? Any other answers? At the back, far back?
Wildlife conservation and environmental, and invasive species.
Okay. Yeah, let me give you the answer. So yeah, we have three programs. Y'all are on the right track. Oh wait, you want to say something before I give the answer? Go ahead.
Okay, the migratory birds.
Okay.
The snail race. No, the snake race. And the. The sea turtles.
The sea turtles. Okay. You guys gave. Oh, there's somebody else at the back. Y'all are checking Instagram. Well, that's very smart of you. I do agree. Wait, somebody at the back first, and then I come to you at the front. Mr. Bobby the Warbler, go ahead. Your mic not on, Mr. Bobby the Warbler. Oh, Lord. Not them not wanting you to give your answer.
The offshore.
Oh, no. Things are progressively getting worse.
Program. The redundant ecosystem reserve and Antigua Marine program.
Yeah. You think he deserves to win? Oh, it's a war. Okay. Let me hear from this side. Does Mr. Bobby the Wobbler deserve to win? Let me hear from this side. No? Let me hear from the middle. Does Mr. Bobby the Wobbler deserve to win? Okay, it's a yes for me over here. This side is a no, this is a yes. From this last table, this... Well, Mr. Bobby, let me hear from our panelists then. Y'all decide. Does Mr. Bobby the Wobbler deserve... Oh, let me split it up. This side. Well, does Mr. Bobby the Wobbler deserve to win? Leroy, your side. Does Mr. Bobby the Wobbler deserve to win? Well, Mr. Bobby the Wobbler, bad mind will never prosper. You win. Guys, in life, you have to be efficient and you have to be smart. Okay? And that's what he did. So yes, we have 3 main programs. We have the Antigua Marine Conservation Program, aka AMCP. That's where we focus on our sea turtle monitoring and conservation. We have our Offshore Island Conservation Program. That's where our keystone species for that is the Antiguan racer. But that's where we also look about our offshore islands. Such a good self. Anyway. And also we have with him, Redonda Ecosystem Reserve. It's time, people. That's where it's time to announce the winners about Redonda. Am I supposed to ask more questions, staff? Continue? Okay, no problem. The ice? Oh yes, the ice. Do we want to know what's in the ice? Linroy, the crowd said they want to know what is in the ice.
Only potentially.
Only potentially? That's the caveat?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's how you use it, right? I mean, growing up, people just tell you that, ice doesn't carry germs, right? That's what your grandmother said. Your grandmother also tell you if you go out in the rain, you catch a cold. Not particularly wise. Not particularly accurate either.
Okay.
Because you bathe, right?
Yeah, I do twice a day, sometimes
I hope you wash your hair.
Yes, I do. I go to the gym all the time.
And you don't get a cold, right?
I can't answer that question right now.
When you do that?
I don't know. Causality. You never know. Go ahead, Leroy. Answer the question.
From a purely food safety standpoint, you have something that is in a container. You make the ice. It is very cold, right? Mm-hmm. Then you take something to scoop the ice out of something, right?
Correct.
What do you use? Do you just put your hand in there? Or do you put a clean hand? Is relative.
What about the ice from the hotels?
I cannot specifically speak to any particular hotel.
Did you sign an NDA?
I can't release people results. I mean, anyway. However, just observe certain practices.
Okay.
So you use a scoop to take it out. Where do you keep that scoop? Do you put it on top the ice machine where the lizards live? Or do you put it in a scoop with maybe
Leroy,
some 10% bleach?
When y'all test the ice, what have you found in it?
Different bacteria.
Different bacteria?
Of course, because bacteria are going to be there because there's human activity, right?
What kind of human bacteria?
Human bacteria, like
the bad type of bacteria? Or the good type?
Well, bad if you're going to go scratch it before you go.
Okay, let's shut this one down. Things are advancing. Wow.
I'm just saying.
Wow. question we had to ask? What was the other question?
Hands. That's all I'm saying.
Just wash your hands. That's Linroy's takeaway today. Just wash your hands. So when y'all getting ice from your little cook shop, you wash your hands.
Or you put the drinks in the cooler with the ice, then scoop up the ice.
And sometimes you don't know where they're getting the ice from the fish market. I don't know.
You can't say nothing about the fish market. Oh gosh, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, question, yes.
So I'm just asking. We did a test where you test the glasses that the hotels give. Because I know some hotels I'm not talking, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
some people don't just put the glass up properly. Some put it up turn it over on the actual lid. Is that actually?
Yeah, but do you ever watch how someone gives you a plate? All right, so if I come and give you this glass for you to drink, you finish with this? Right. So someone brings you it and they bring a plate and the thumb is in the plate, right? So you bring the plate with your thumb in it. Where was your thumb before? I don't know.
Okay, moving on. Josh, we had a question for you.
To her question, do you test it? So what happens sometimes is that we have contracts with different hotels, and you actually test the people after they wash their hands.
Oh.
And you also check the plates, the forks, they send these things as samples, and you actually do test them to see what the bacteriological content is. Because some of these providers, they actually provide foods for the airline.
Oh.
And therefore, we have to do all of that to check.
So that's the only reason why we're testing?
Huh?
That's the only reason why we're testing. Is it
a law?
Yes.
There is
it regulated?
No specific law in Antigua that governs that, but the hotels do it because, their tour operators actually demand it. Yeah.
Okay.
So there isn't a law in Antigua that says you have to do any of this.
Okay. Is that a gap?
That's not a gap. That's like a canyon.
Okay, wonderful. It's a canyon. Okay.
Should do it.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Josh, we had a question before for you. I'm going to try to remember it. I think the question was, what type of snakes do you handle? Are they venomous? And have you had any altercations with the snakes, such as any snake bites?
This is very interesting. So I've never dealt with venomous snakes before. It's only been non-venomous snakes. So in Grenada, I will deal with our critically endangered and endemic Grenada tree boa. We also have a leeward, leeward racer snake, right? So we also have a racer snake, so I've dealt with those. Here, the Antiguan racer is not venomous, right? So you could deal with it. It's pretty fun. It gets very docile. It gets very calm after you pick it up, right? Not telling you to go pick it up, because apparently that's against the law for you guys to do, right? But snakes are usually aggressive when they're probably pregnant or probably trying to protect themselves, right? But the Antiguan racer is the best little racer you'll ever find. It's not aggressive. It only releases a stink, right? So something like a skunk, a stink that just deter predators or anything that's trying to get at it. Have I ever been bitten before? That was the last thing?
Mm-hmm.
No. Apparently everyone else has been bitten by an Antiguan racer except for me. But animals don't usually bite me or do any bodily harm to me. I usually get injured from cassie and probably cactuses more than anything than I would get from an animal. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do we have any other questions? Okay, go ahead. You can.
I had a question for Dr. Christian. It was regarding the mercury in the air from the Sahara dust. When you do your test on the air, what do you do with that said information? And how could the mercury affect us in those levels?
So it's not specifically from the dust alone, because most chemicals can travel transboundary. So they come on air, wet deposition, so rain, things like that. So over the past year, we've had that site. And we also have sites in Guyana, Belize, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and Suriname. So what we're doing within the whole region is to actually, every quarter we gather this data, and on an annual basis we review it to see what the levels are. And that may be able to tell you if there's a source close by or not. Also, you have to do soil and sediment. We also do it in human hair. So testing for mercury in human hair is actually quite straightforward as well. And that tells you where the potential sources are. And then from there, you'd have to advise the government. Because in most cases, what we have to do is to advise the government or governments to do something in particular, if they listen, yeah.
Wonderful. Do we have any more questions? Oh, at the back, go ahead.
I actually had a question for Mr. Wilson. You said before you were a wildlife officer, you were a marine wildlife conservation biologist?
Yeah, correct.
What advice or what recommendations would you have for someone trying to enter that certain field of study?
So it depends on what you are passionate about in your life, right? My advice is to go for it, right? So something I want to bring up for you guys only, I guess most of you have gone to UE alone, and you guys only hear about UE and their programs that they offer. But in Grenada, we have the St. George's University. They also offer the same type of programs which I did, but UE offers. It's way better, by the way.
Oh, not the war. Oh, yeah, move your seat, Glenroy. Whoa.
Right. Even though it's predominantly a medical and veterinary school, right? They do offer scholarships to CARICOM and OECS personnel. If you were lucky to be born in Grenada, just like I am, right? You got an 85% scholarship, so that's pretty much what I got. So my advice to you is to go for it, and don't be scared to leave Antigua, right, and go to another country, but still, there's opportunities here for you to come back to, right? Don't let your government persuade you to not come back, right, or just stick into the government sector. As you can see, a lot of people here are not probably working for government, but there's a lot of opportunities out there for you. If not Antigua, then probably not Jamaica, but probably Barbuda, right? It's one of the most untouched places right now in the Caribbean, so you could always have an opportunity there to do either it be energy or it be wildlife stuff.
Okay. Well, before we take the next question, I have a question for these people here, because I'm a novice like most of you guys. You guys are talking about your different career paths, what you're doing now. I just want to know, is it profitable? Are you paying the bills? Are you eating? Can you get to work? I just want to know, and even if maybe, let's say at some point you found that it wasn't, did you have to kind of, I don't know, create a side hustle, do some, independent consultancies? I don't know. But how does it work for you in the financial department? Because I feel like that's an elephant in the room, and nobody has touched on that. And these folks should know what's going on, because I want to know too. I really don't know. So let's hear. Well, we see some people are traveling to Paris, so maybe you can't answer, because I've never traveled to Paris for work. Oh, maybe you should answer. I don't know, but
oh, this is anyway. So for a very long time, the first job here was as a microbiologist in the department. I'm the director now, yes, but in coming in, it is not the most attractive to have that as a first job, I would say, from a salary standpoint. So, bearing in mind that I had you see the side hustle business? Yes, I had jobs in food safety. I had jobs prior to that while I was at Cave Hill. When I was studying, I had jobs to deal with airline food safety, for instance. So using that, when I came back, I formed a company. So that company led me to do a lot of work in indoor air quality. That's how Idija and I met. So a lot of the buildings in Antigua, I would have tested the air quality in those buildings and had to advise them on what needed to be done. And one of the main things that needed to be done is that nobody looks at the mechanical side of things. And so you have, like you said, older buildings, they just put AC in and everybody walks away, right? So you had a lot of issues, building-related issues. And the other thing is food safety. And you don't think about food safety until it affects you in a way, and you may not know how. So a lot of the hotels they don't have water system policies, they don't have proper food safety guidance. So those are the areas that I saw as gaps. And I said, look, these are consultancies I could do, and I formed a company, PsyConsult Inc., and that was what I did as well when I came back. So you have to really look at, and you made that point as well, you can't do that one thing. You go to school to study whatever it is, what are some of the connected fields that you can do? Where are some of the areas that you can see in your country where there's a gap, where what you can exploit? I mean, whether it is something on YouTube, whether it's these are all legitimate things that you can do that are non-traditional. Because one of the things they would tell you, you okay? Okay, we don't bring attention to her. Okay, good. Everybody look this side. One of the things that you enter into science and they think that the only viable field is to go into something medicine related. And I think medicine is not the only or the most viable field connected to the sciences. There are a lot of other fields connected to the sciences that are extremely important that the people here actually demonstrate that they do. So I would say, again, be very diverse. You have to love it, yes, but you also have to pay attention to what is connected to what you do and what can make an impact in your country, because everybody up here at some level is dealing with science at a very basic level, and you have to ensure that you find out, and that's your job, to see where the opportunities lie. Nobody's just going to come and hand you an opportunity. You have to be tenacious. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's hear from Janelle first, and then go ahead.
Well, to add on to that. Okay. To add on to that. Yeah. Okay. To add on to that, I guess, well, one, it always depends on what lifestyle you want to live. But you also have to understand that the conservation field isn't the only field where you need a side hustle in this 21st century. Being a Dominican going to these Antiguan grocery stores. Yes, I would need a second job here for sure. But you have to understand what you are comfortable with and find a path that will elevate you to that comfort level. Because if you want to go based on experience, solely experience, there's only so far experience can take you on a pay level, right? Perhaps, you want to pursue the academic space. There's only so far, an undergraduate degree or master's degree or PhD can take you. It all depends on the path that you want to go and the level of pay or the promotion that you want to achieve. So you need to identify that for yourself, what you are comfortable with, because entry level, actually it depends on where you are too, because I worked in Florida as an entry level fish and wildlife technician, and in 5 months I made enough money to pay for my accommodation thing for my master's program, right? So you have to look at what that pay is, what the benefits are. Are they providing housing? Because that's the thing in conservation. When you work for some research institutions, they provide housing, they provide transportation on top of your pay. Or is it that your pay has to cover everything? So there's different fields, different levels, but again, what do you want to do? Where are the gaps? How can you merge your field with other fields to create that pocket where people are attracted to you, attracted to hire you, whether it's through consultancy or academia. But the best thing to do is to experience or to connect yourself with different people and learn from them. What is it that they have done to get where they are today? What have their pay being, their experience being, the opportunities being, and is this something, looking at this person, that you also want to see reflected for you?
If I could jump in there, I just want to say one thing super quickly. Okay. 5 seconds. Yes. And what I just want to say is that when you work in conservation, often you do it because you're passionate about it. And when you're passionate, you take advantage of yourself. So often you work extra long hours, you go in for extra shifts, you feel so privileged to be able to do the work that you're doing that you don't get to the point where you are asking for more money or saying, I need a promotion, my salary is too low, or my hours are too long. So you need to get to the point where you recognize what you deserve and you're willing to ask for it, but then you also need to figure out what standard of living you want. And if you plan to be living a champagne lifestyle and cruising and flying here, there, and everywhere, then it may just be that this field is honestly not for you. Be a lawyer, be a politician, carry home all the money. What you may also notice is that while money is great and not getting your light and your water shut off is great, job satisfaction is just as good. I have a friend, she's a lawyer, she makes enough money. Nicest cars, all that kind of stuff, they're great, but she despises her job. She hates waking up every morning. She wishes she could stay home and never go to work again. So there is something to be said for getting up and being happy, even if you're eating, chicken instead of peasant. There are some benefits there. So you have to be introspective, figure out what you want, and then, as Janelle said, chart the course and advocate for yourself.
I think we're ending on a great note. We have to get straight into the prizes now. Thank you once again to our panel. And also thank you for interacting so much. And I remember the conversation continues afterwards. All right, so which prize are we announcing?
Janella, I wanted to say something very important.
Yeah, just one.
Can I say it after, at the end?
Yes, for sure. You can say it after. Don't worry. Which prize are we going to... okay, great. So our first prize is the special screening of the Redonda documentary, The Road to Recovery. So I believe this will be allotted to a group, a class, and they get to come to the EAG headquarters, and we're going to deck things out for you. We're going to have a special screening. We're going to have popcorn. We're going to have drinks. It's going to be an interactive session. Oops. You didn't send any questions in Slido. So we're going to announce the winner. So drum roll, please.
One, two. And the disclaimer, these prizes have been assigned based on your participation, your questions on Slido, and just your enthusiasm about the event, okay? There's no favoritism here, so don't even start it. Remember, we're an NGO, not the government. All right, so that was just a little jokey joke, people. Just cut that from the stream. So the winner of the exclusive documentary screening prize is the Antigua State College Engineering Department.
Yeah, she's in engineering.
Viking.
Okay, let's go. Round of applause. Congrats to the engineering department.
Viking.
Hey.
Viking.
We watch the documentary. We go watch the documentary.
Take a chip now.
All right, next prize. We're on a time crunch. All right. So the next prize is a very special prize because it's the one under the offshore. The one under the Offshore Islands Conservation Program, which is where all of this started. So the winner of the mangrove field. Now, let me put some ice on you now. So the winner of the mangrove field trip guided by the EAG is the Antigua State College Liberal Arts Department. Can I have 2 representatives come, please?
Viking.
Anybody. Get up. Get up.
Take
Get
a
up.
chip, take a
Don't
chip,
send
take a chip, take a
Esther.
chip.
She done put in all the work online. Send somebody else, no man. Only Esther can.
We are the sound of 100,000 coming on the road. We are the vibration that you feel when the music loads. We are the mud and the oil and we come the dirty of the clothes. I made the girl them wine and strike the electric pose. Take a chip, take a chip, take a chip, take a chip now. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it now. Take a sip, take a sip, take a sip, take a sip now.
Well, Esther has to stay up here anyway, because as we remember, okay, all right. So as we remember, Esther was the one who won our quiz, and for that, can we have the next slide switch, please? We are going to be gifting Esther with a snorkeling trip. Esther, big up yourself. Big up Esther. Big up Esther. She answered the question. Hey. Go Esther. Go Esther. Go Esther. Go Esther. Y'all see why I couldn't host this year? Because in here with a mashup. The next winner from winning, because it's 5 snorkeling, well, y'all are going to be snorkeling together, but it's 5 people, all right? The next winner of the exclusive guided snorkeling trip is Miss Tiana Nathaniel from Antigua State College Engineering. Go TT, go TT, go TT, go TT, go TT, go TT. My outer bread, man, I lie. All right. Next up is going to be, again from the Antigua State College, but wearing a different uniform. It is to, I hope I'm pronouncing this correct, Charisma Tongue from the commercial. Yeah! Okay, she's ready. Hey! Dominica, Nika. All right. The next gentleman, he's not from the Antigua State College. Yes, shock. I don't know his name, but he has been participating, and we have to big up this institution. They just got a renovation, so they come up here and say, yeah, we're not Anna Abyss anymore. We are the, I don't know y'all new name yet, but my friend here in the checkered plaid, he has been participating, and he will tell me his name. Give me some music, Spaniard. Whoa.
You must prepare for war. You must be ready for battle. It's true. Lego the beast. We the jump high.
Hey.
We the jump rough.
Yeah.
We the jump high.
Yeah.
We the jump. Just call me Mr. Mashup.
Hey.
Everything I get mashed up.
All right.
When I touch the stage, I make the people.
All right, Spaniard. Lou. All right. There is one. I hope y'all are old enough to know this reference. One snorkeling trip stands before me. Oh, do y'all know this? America's Next Top Model. Thank you. Thank you. One snorkeling prize remains in front of me. And this person, when they win, you're going to be like, yeah, they were doing too much. Or maybe they were doing what y'all should have been. So please bring to the stage Barbuda Warbler!
Best late entry of the century.
Hey!
Braga! Yo! I'm not going boy no small fret. Let me extend my apologies. Only big fret with big flag going overhead like canopy. Rag in me back pocket with a white vest, sneakers and wallabies. Knife tips and tight pants, I never really rate none of these. I come from brass festival and from customs and from flour mills. Was a fed fire fret and licensing fret and them had a power
All
pill.
right. Spaniard, for this sec, we have 4 more prizes. Very quickly. And Spaniard, I need some, give me dirty money rhythm, Jack. It's that time. I told y'all in here with a mashup. So, we don't want to forget some of our other participants from the other institutions. So, we have bestowed upon this individual a limited edition. In fact, it might be the last of its kind eco bottle. And this is presented to someone from the University of the West Indies, 5 Island campus. And that person is Mr. Melville Green Jr., who was asking questions online and was here in person. Yes. Oh, wait there. Wait. Is it? I'm loving. Wait. Clean version. Clean. I'm liking this head to toe UE vibe.
There's something where you don't know. I'm like.
All right. Let's not get carried away, because you know I will. And y'all are old enough to go to fetes, right? Okay, y'all are gonna have to eat very quickly, but I know y'all are loving the shenanigans, so it's okay. We have this also limited edition Redonda Ecosystem Reserve tumbler. So when you're in the fetes and so you don't have to be drinking out no plastic cup. You can look down at people with their plastic cup and be like, oh, you don't have a Redonda tumbler? Oh. Right? So the winner of this Redonda tumbler, I actually saw in an event just last week. And she is from the St. Anthony's Secondary School, and her name is Kai. And she was asking, come on, girl. She was asking a number of questions. So big up to her. Yes. Thank you. All right. That's it. And then we're going to have to end it there. Okay, hold on. Trijanella.
Hi, wonderful. So we're going to have a word from the person who has been coordinating all of this. So please give a big round of applause for Miss Trinity Archibald. Good girl, Trinity.
First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to the Lord God above for making me able to coordinate, bringing me here to EAG, being with me throughout this whole year, last year, and bringing me to able to make y'all network better in the future. So I'd like to thank God above. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Canary, Arcadia, Flora and Fauna, and to our service providers, Chasso Media, DJ Spaniard, the Cabo Brand, and Casa Palmadita for giving us this lovely venue. And I cannot forget our presenters today. Right? They did a wonderful job, so I'd like to award our presenters today for being with us as well. Round of applause. And thank you everyone for showing up with your bright smiles, with your questions, with your open minds. I'd really like to thank you all for being here and making this event a success today. Thank you much.
Why if you have one girl when
well, guys, you know what time it is. You don't have to go home, but you can have some lunch. So we really want, as Trinity said, thank you for everybody for coming up here. Thank you for showing up. I hope you enjoyed yourself. You enjoyed yourself? Wonderful. Well, it was a pleasure having you. We know your school bus is coming soon, and we really want you to enjoy your lunch.
So State College students, could you please go to the back by Shanna? And we can start the procession, and then Spaniard, just do what you do.